Meteorologist Jared Tamer says current climate indicators suggest that rainfall across the island could fall below normal levels in the coming months, increasing the likelihood of drought conditions. The warning comes as Grenada moves through its annual dry season, which typically runs from January to May. Tamer noted that 2025 was already an extremely dry year, the driest since 2009, with below average rainfall recorded. Those conditions, he explained, are contributing to the current outlook.
As we enter the second half of the 2026 dry season, we are very much concerned about the severity of the second half. April into May could be pretty severe. And those climatic markers have been indicating that for the last couple of months.
Reduced rainfall could have serious implications for water supply, agriculture and vegetation across the island if dry spell continues for an extended period. Forecasters are therefore advising residents, farmers and businesses to begin conserving water and preparing for possible shortages.
And including all our wet months, so from June to December, we did not have the amount of rainfall that we normally get. So what that leaves us is that we have a serious rainfall deficit to start the 2026 dry season. Now it means that like all our groundwater storage, our lakes and rivers and so forth do not have the amount of water that they would normally have at this time of the year because there was just not the rainfall to support it.
Meanwhile, the National Water and Sewerage Authority, NWASA, says it is already taking steps to prepare for the anticipated dry spell. Manager of Transmission and Distribution, Lyndon Bullen, says the authority is guided by its drought mitigation plan, which is reviewed annually. He explained that meetings are currently being held to assess the status of water plants, production levels, operational challenges, and ways to optimize supply.
The conditions at the various plants over the last few weeks. Every week we get updates on those. I would say that we are level 3 out of 5, 5 being the most severe. So while we are kind of facing some challenges at the time, it's not very severe at the time. We are managing. We have started some valve regulation on some of the systems. Those include Maribo, PTA Tang, and Les Avocats. So we monitor the plant production. What we have seen in some of the plants, especially after burial, there's a decrease in the yield of the watersheds. So the replenishment of the watershed or water production is quite low compared to previous years. So we monitor closely the production at the dams and at the plants, and when we do see that there's a low yield, we would have to do some regulations in our distribution.
Bullen added that valve regulation and increased water delivery by trucks are among the measures NWASA typically implements during drought conditions.
So during the drought period, there are some communal tanks that we would add to locations we know that normally is hardly impacted. And these are like stationary tanks that we would place, and then we ourselves, our company, would fill these tanks to ensure that there's always a supply for those communities. However, customers who do have adequate storage facilities at their home, they can make a request for the water truck delivery. Normally we recommend at least a couple days advance notice, and then we'd have it scheduled so that they can get water delivered.
The Meteorological Office will continue to closely monitor the situation, and is encouraging Grenadians to practice water conservation and rainwater harvesting to help reduce the potential impact. Residents are also being urged to stay informed through official weather advisories. Chrislina John, GBN News.